In the past lesson, we tackled Jürgen Habermas' concept of personal and transactional relationships, as well as the three spheres of society, market state, and life world. We also learned how to societies develop through material and symbolic reproduction, shaping social structure interactions. Good day, Labashas! Today we're exploring different types of societies and how they shape our lives. We'll start with tribal and feudal societies, which represent some of the earliest forms of the social organization.
Tribal and feudal society. In a tribal society, power is primarily held by the tribal leaders. Social structure are based on kinship, tradition, and often spiritual beliefs. Think of close communities where everyone knows their rule. Feudal societies, on the other hand, are characterized by hierarchical structure where monarchs and lords have absolute control. People live under their rule with limited individual rights, schedule service, and labor for protection. Key characteristics of these societies include material production was deeply intertwined with culture. Economic activities are hunting and farming were not just about survival. They were integral to tradition and social life. Tribals, leaders, and monarchs had significant control over economic politics, political system, centralizing power and managing resources. Symbolic reproduction, meaning tradition, laws, and cultural practice, was dedicated by rules reinforcing their authority. Individual rights were limited. People's lives were largely shaped by their loyalty and service to their leader with personal freedom. Modern industrialized society. Now, let's fast forward to modern industrialized society. This type of society is driven by trade, capitalism, and political systems that promote individual rights and economic independence. The development of trade and capitalism brought about significant economic changes, shifting the focus from agriculture to industrial production and creating new markets. Unlike tribal and feudal systems, tribal leaders and monarchs no longer held a monopoly over resources. Power became more distributed. Markets gained independence from political rule, allowing businesses to operate with less government interference and fostering free trade. Most importantly, individuals gained rights and autonomy. People had more freedom to choose their professions, express their opinions, and participate in politics. Power structures shifted from monarchies to democratic systems where governments began recognizing the rights of citizens, replacing absolute rule with democratic institutions.
Mechanical solidarity to balance rural society. Now we'll delve into the concept of mechanical and organic solidarity introduced by sociologist Emil Durkheim. These concepts help us understand how different societies maintain cohesion and function. Mechanical solidarity is characteristic of rural communities. It's based on strong communal ties, shared traditions, and collective identity. In rural communities, mechanical solidarity dominates. This type of society is characterized by strong communal ties and shared traditions and collective identity. People in these communities live similar, perform similar work, and follow custom passed down through generations.
Key aspects of mechanical solidarity include traditional and individualistic structure. The community operates in a way that still reflects old traditions, where people rely on one another for support. Strong sense of collectivism. Individuals see themselves as a part of larger group rather than independent beings, sharing responsibilities and valuing social harmony. Social cohesion. Through customs and rituals, community bonds are strengthened through traditional practices like weddings, communal mourning, and conflict resolution through rituals rather than legal means. authority of elders, older members of the community hold a significant role in maintaining order and unity with their wisdom and experience guiding younger generations.
Urban communities operate under organic solidarity, which is based on individual roles, interdependence, and legal agreements rather than shared traditions. Key aspects of organic solidarity include industrialized and modernized structure. Cities are driven by economic functions rather than shared traditions, meaning people rely on specialized jobs and professional roles. Stronger sense of individualism. Unlike in rural areas, individuals in cities prioritize personal goals, careers, and privacy over collective identity.
Bonds based on legal contracts. People interact through agreements such as work contracts, property ownership, and business transactions rather than traditional customs. Trust is defined by legal systems. In urban settings, trust is built on official agreements and laws rather than personal relationships or community traditions. Market-driven work relations, efficiency and functionality determine professional success, and social hierarchy, such as seniority, matters less than skills and productivity.
Now, let's explore the concept of individualism and collectivism and how they shape societies. These concepts highlight the different ways people prioritize their goals and relationships.
Individualism emphasizes personal freedom and rights and independence. It values self-reliance in the ability to individual to make choices without external interference. Recognize their personal goals are over group objectives. Illegal society system protect individual rights and freedom. There is a tendency toward competition rather than cooperation. Individual achievements are highly recognized and rewarded.
Collectivism, on the other hand, prioritize the group over the individual. It fosters unity, cooperation, and shared responsibility. In a collectivistic society, the needs of the group come before personal desires. Social disorder is maintained through provision and communal responsibilities. Decisions are often made collectively rather than individually.
Between individualism and collectivism presents a dilemma. Both have advantage and disadvantage. Philosopher Martin Buber emphasized that rather than choosing one over the other, societies should value the relationship between individuals as the key to social harmony.
Individuals cannot exist without a collective society. At the same time, a collective cannot function without recognizing individual contributions. Genuine dialogue and cooperation allow societies to integrate both perspectives, creating a balanced and thriving community. In conclusion, understanding the dynamics of tribal, feudal, industrialized societies, as well as the interplay between mechanical and organic solidarity, individualism, and collectivism, provides a valuable insight into the complexities of human social organization. By recognizing the strengths and limitations of each, we can not towards building more inclusive and harmonious communities.